My name is Zach Mentz, Editor-in-Chief of Portable Plants Magazine, and today I'm joined by Chris Godek, President of the National Demolition Association, as well as Jeff Lambert, Executive Director of the National Demolition Association, as they both offer an update on association members, the state of the demolition industry, and a look ahead at what to expect in the second half of 2020 and possibly into early 2021. Chris, Jeff, thanks for joining Portable Plants today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So we'll jump right into the hot topic button, which is for everyone is infrastructure. That's kind of the buzzword around the industry and has been for some time now. The U.S. House of Representatives recently introduced nearly $500 billion infrastructure proposal, and that bill is expected to be introduced in the House floor in July. Similarly, the Trump administration intends to invest nearly $1 billion in America's infrastructure via the Infrastructure for Rebuilding America discretionary grant program. As that topic of infrastructure seemingly continues to gain momentum on both sides of the political aisle, how would the passage of any infrastructure funding impact your members and the industry as a whole?
Well, I think anything that's going to put more money into our industry, be it directly into demolition work or into infrastructure work, bridge work, highway work, is going to be beneficial to our industry. Just stronger economy, more work. It helps us. There's that great balance, right? Of can we get concrete, or are the plants not that busy that we can get it, or are they so busy that it's priced? It's so priced up that the supply and demand chain becomes an issue. But I think as far as infrastructure spending and anything that the government passes is going to help our industry. Anything that generates our work that a lot of our members perform road work and they perform some infrastructure work, and we have a large group of guys and girls that do bridge demolition. So the trickle down is there'll be work for us through the industry. It's hard to say how much individual contractors are going to try to perform themselves instead of subcontracting work out. But I could probably expound for hours. But any infrastructure spending, I think, would be a boon to our industry. Whether they're contracts directly awarded to us as contractors, or that we feel, or we feel the effects of through the trickle down type of thought process.
Yeah, I would just add that we did a recent member survey, and about half the respondents indicated that they do state and federal work specifically on infrastructure. So as Chris mentioned, bridges, heavy highway work, talking about infrastructure on pipelines, power plants, coal plants, et cetera. So if a bill does pass, and there is some debate as to whether or not that would happen, it would certainly benefit those members, benefit the industry. I think, as Chris mentioned, there would be a trickle-down effect. Of course, our main concern is with state of tax revenues, both at the state and local level, expecting that pool to dry up. So local projects drying up. We think that if an infrastructure bill does pass, it would offset that work that many of our members did have slated on their backlogs for the end of the year, that now looks like that might be drying up. So we're certainly paying attention. The Democrats, I think, just released their Moving Forward Act, which you had mentioned. So there are a lot of things in there to piece through. I think it's a 2,000-page bill. So we haven't had a chance to go through all of it yet. Looks like there's a lot of stuff on energy in there, pipeline work, as well as like heavy highway and infrastructure that we're interested in and that we'll be taking a look at over the next few days. But we're looking forward to hopefully something happening before the election. But as you know, in an election year, the chances of it passing prior to the election, I mean, that's sort of a toss-up right now. So.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the unpredictability that comes with an election year, and I think that's natural for that to happen every 4 years. And added to the unpredictability of this year, of course, has been the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. As we look ahead, and we're getting to about the halfway point of 2020 here, as we look ahead to the last 6 months of the year, what's your outlook for the rest of 2020 and even early 2021? Are there any reasons for optimism there, or what are you forecasting?
Yeah, Jeff will probably talk to you a little bit about the what the NDA is doing. But what I could offer is that there's going to be changes in the work that we do. There's no doubt. Class A office space may be a thing of the past. You're not going to want to try to shove as many people in a space as you can and worry that you may lose half your workforce overnight. What we're seeing is manufacturing and warehousing. We realized in this country how fragile our supply chain is. So I think we're going to see a lot more money put into that sort of work where we have more availability to have materials built and made in the U.S. and warehoused in the U.S. So they're available to us. Infrastructure. I think infrastructure is going to be a big deal. It's one of those things. If we're going to spend money, why not fix our own house up a little bit? And I think if you look at that in the national level, I think that's the thought here. So I think those areas of the market are going to continue to grow. If I was betting, I'd be betting on manufacturing and warehousing right now as becoming the next bigger markets. And then to a certain degree, is going to be the housing market. You're going to start to. We're seeing it where I am. We're seeing people coming out of New York City and trying to find housing outside of the city due to less population density. So those are the three areas I think we're going to start to see stuff happening.
Yeah, I would just add earlier, I mentioned shrinking tax bases at the state and local level, and potential shrinking backlogs for longer term projects. So, hopefully infrastructure does pass. Hopefully that comes about this fall. But I don't mean to sound all doom and gloom. I mean, there are reasons for optimism. The demolition industry is one segment of the economy that could emerge stronger from from this pandemic. As I said earlier, our members are resilient and always have been. They're resourceful. Our survey told us that members, staggered work, took temperatures on site, shut down projects, and then created plans to get back up and running. Construction is already seeing improvement. So I was just reading an article yesterday. May saw the largest monthly increase in construction jobs since the government began tracking employment in 1939. So that's a drastic improvement from April, which recorded the industry's largest drop. So, the industry added, I think, over 450,000 net jobs in May. So, there is good reason to be optimistic as we go forward. And hopefully we see some larger scale projects through infrastructure that would come online. And as Chris said, I think, residential housing will continue to be strong. Certainly, a few of the articles I was reading the other day indicate that the residential housing market will still be strong going forward. So, there's reason to be optimistic. And I know just anecdotally, and Chris can tell you too, but all of our members are like full steam ahead right now. Everybody's on the job sites right now. Everybody's back to work. So hopefully that continues here in the near term and then through the long term.
Yeah, that's certainly encouraging to hear, specifically the job number you mentioned there in May, and that all your members seem to be going right at it full steam right now. Again, that is Chris Godek, President of the National Demolition Association, and Jeff Lambert, Executive Director of the National Demolition Association, sharing their insights on the demolition and construction industries and what they expect going forward. Chris, Jeff, thanks to both of you for your time today joining Portable Plants. We appreciate it, and we look forward to hearing from you guys both down the road.
Thanks, Zach. Have a good one.
Thank you very much.